Hey, Facebook, we get to chime into a couple simple techniques that greatly reduce your time to completion when it comes to tasks and getting them done, which creates more time for you. And more importantly, it creates a much more positive mindset. Remember, anyone can show you how to get more done in less time, but if something doesn't show you how to get more done in less time, as well as create more time for you and more freedom, and decrease your time in office, and create a shift from negative emotions to positive emotions, and create more autonomy and ease and flow and trust between you and team, it's pointless. It is pointless. It's not about getting more done in less time. It's about having a lot more freedom and ease and flow for you as well as your team. So, first, where this comes from is speaking with a gentleman who is a master at behavioral therapy. And one of his superpowers is organizational behavior. For example, NASCAR, right? NASCAR sits with a microscope under things like the pit stop, because that 2/10 of a second is the difference between winning the race and being in the middle. So he was looking at organizational behavior and where is the peak point where we get to work from. Where's the peak point? So, for example, he says that he's so in demand in the corporate world because he's just like, the corporate world is just going bonkers and they're being bozos regarding trying to get people to do more work in less time along with more hours. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So let's dive into this. He was speaking into the optimal time in order to get things done. And that time is roughly 20 to 25 minutes in a shot. Now, that relates to what I see as one of the top 3 productivity principles, which is it takes 2 seconds to implement. And here's how to actually systematize it. And since I've come back from Boston and been at home and in tandem with this coronavirus thing, being able to work from home, my productivity and my energy and my time off has just skyrocketed, like huge manifestation of those results. And one of those key reasons is because of this. Well, what he's speaking into is a principle that I learned called the Pomodoro technique. And what he used to do, he used to set a tomato timer for 25 minutes. That way, that timer reminded him to either stop or finish that task that he was doing so that he could take a 5-minute break to literally get up, walk away, do something else for 5 minutes, go take his mind away from it. Because look at these factors. It makes sense. We want to keep this razor sharp. Like, what do you think the difference is when you're like writing a book and your pencil starts to become really dull? It's such a similar relationship, like with your mind, and therefore how you're actually engaging with the work. Like, your time to complete tasks as well as the creative and present input that go into it will just like, the time will go down at least 25%. Think about that. And then the amount of creative juice and a quality output is going to greatly increase as well. So it's about keeping the razor sharp consistently. So what I've seen and studied as well, what he said is, once we get in that 20-point range, that 20-minute range, we hit here, and once we get about at 20 minutes, the mental energy and the physical energy just starts to plummet, right? I think we really cap out at like 40 to 45 minutes. You ever been in those meetings where all of a sudden it passes like 30 to 40 minutes, and everybody just starts dulling out? Like, everyone loses present. They lose like all their focus that's there. So you literally can get twice as much done in half the time by having these spaces. Try it for yourself. Trust me, it works. For example, When I was being ranked in the top productivity by employee for 13 years, we had consistent breaks, nap rooms, permissions, flex time. Maybe some people need to go to a doctor on Wednesday, but let's stay on track on this easy technique. So literally, like the time, like your productivity just drops so far past there, like so far, so far. So this is what I do to remind myself so that I don't have to think about adding this. Whether it's on your phone or like a timer. So for example, I'll use Alexa right now. Alexa, remind me in 30 minutes to take a break.
Okay, I'll remind you in 30 minutes.
So whether if it's like Alexa or your phone or your computer, just look on online timer and learn to set that 25 minutes. In fact, I've set it up so that when I launch my browser, that the first tab that opens up is my online timer so that it reminds me to actually be setting that timer. And if you get into this groove imperfectly, notice the difference of what happens. Even when you're away for 3 to 5 minutes, it starts to feel like a long time. And when you step away from it and you just maybe take a walk around the block, maybe sit with yourself for a few minutes, like grab a healthy snack or some water, notice that all of a sudden your mind starts to trigger new ideas or ways to do it. And that particular, like you'll get pulled back in. You'll get pulled back in. You're going to want to be doing it and you'll want to be craving. But a lot of this really isn't about like creating more time, which is easy to do. It's really about your mental energy in focus. Because we've all been there tired after lunch. Like, what's the point working when you're just like tired and exhausted in the flow? Like, it's pointless. It's pointless. So, in summary, set yourself up a reminder, maybe using your phone for a few times in the day to remind you to set the Pomodoro timer. Maybe it's the first thing on your morning checklist when you start to work. Maybe it's the first browser tab that you get to open. But trust me, it's key and it's powerful because it does all of these things. 1, time to completion in tasks on everything goes down. The creative input goes up a lot. Creates more time and freedom for you to do other things and what really matters most. Your overall emotional well-being goes up. Your presence, your focus, and your creativity, and you get less time in office and more team autonomy and flow. It is that simple. The days in this time off that we have, are a lot of people realizing now that you have the flexibility to almost sleep when you want to sleep or sleep more or even give yourself permission to take a nap what's there? Are you noticing in this time off how your general happiness and demeanor is actually starting to skyrocket? You're feeling a lot more calm, you're feeling a lot more flow, and there might be new ideas that are actually driving it. Yeah, we might be in a shitstorm, but notice what's actually coming out of it that is so positive. Because my vision is this: we get to step back into the work world, working a lot less. There's no reason to be working more than 4 hours a day in a week. It's ridiculous. Paying for things that we don't need, that are just way overpriced. Like, it's all bullshit. We get to have a lot more freedom to do the things that we want to do and the things that matter. The reasons why we started our own side hustle or business are not that we want to spend 50 or 60 hours in the business trapped under the busyness of it all. It's total BS. So we get to take our freedom back. So all of those who are stressed out and overwhelmed in their business and wondering how to get a lot more like efficient and productive while decreasing their time in office, while increasing their well-being and their time autonomy, it's really easy. And my favorite people are the ones who are either operating a lot of their business or their lifestyle from their head, or if they're out of their head, they got stuff scattered all over the place and they don't know what to be checking all the time. It's so easy to fix. We get to go back into the world when it starts with an optimal IndyCar system that's so easy to implement. Anyhow, try this. And if you want a free consult to see if there's like actually huge areas of possibility, just PM me, hit me up. We get to create an awesome world together because we weren't made to go be sitting in an office all day in cubicles, tired and stressed out, working for that dollar. Nope, not at all. Love you.